Welcome everyone. Craig Adams here from weddingfilmschool.com and happy Wedding Film School Wednesday. We have another wonderful guest we're going to chat with. So we have the chat box on the right of the video. So if you want to chat with other Wedding Film School subscribers, post any questions that you would love for us to tackle, that'd be great. But we're going to get into it. I'm super happy because I remember watching this film when it was posted a couple weeks ago. And it blew my mind. I love this stuff. And since then, I've done research for this podcast interview thing, but I've fallen in love with this studio, White and Revery. So we have Kaylin and Christine from Colorado. So say hi, you two.
What's up?
Hey.
Cool. So I'm in Brooklyn. You're in Colorado. We have a little bit of a time difference, but is Colorado really as beautiful as everyone expects? How is it over there right now?
More so beautiful.
We talk about it we just moved here last year and last June, and we still have conversations weekly, bi-weekly, often about how much we just love living here.
Yeah. So we live pretty close to downtown, and quick access to the mountains. When I say quick access,
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're in the mountains. 5 to 10 minutes we're in the city. And yeah, it's really cool.
Pretty convenient.
So it's safe to say weddings are a little different in Colorado than say Brooklyn or Manhattan, but yes. You do destination as well. You do it all. So how has this season been? How are you guys doing?
This season's been really fun.
It's been different because we came from Florida, which technically you can film any month of the year there. And coming to Colorado, we realized the season is a little bit more May through October, I guess. So our first Colorado wedding is this weekend, and then our last one I think is in September. So we're getting used to a different season, and we technically film outside the state, outside those dates, and sometimes inside them. So yeah.
Because technically you could film at any point. We had a blizzard here in New York and we filmed on that blizzard and they canceled the reception. It was so bad. And they cut the ceremony a little short. They almost didn't have it. And TV crews showed up. So I don't recommend people shooting all throughout the year, but yes, Florida and California is a bit different for the wedding season.
Yeah, I will say there was a wedding that kind of just made my heart sing. It was a loft wedding over in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Florida and
Okay, it was in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we actually there was snow that day. It was in January, and anyway, and I was like, this is amazing. I love it. So I do love winter weddings a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's always good to do one that just totally mixes it up. Yeah.
And it can totally work. So
cool. So the one video that brought you two to my attention was the Iceland one. And you did the most adorable write-up for the elopement. It was an elopement, right? Yeah, so it wasn't a full wedding. But just so badass. And okay, so You wrote Ryan's gentle spirit and contagious laugh and her badass demeanor paired with seriously loving personality. You guys really care about your couples and it shows, and the beauty of the landscape. Tell me, talk to me about this elopement in general.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of just amazing days start with amazing people. And when we met Ryan and Chelsea initially, I think it was in her initial email to us that really made me super interested in them. Iceland was just a plus, but I remember at first being no, these actually these are really cool people, Kaylin. We should totally talk to them.
Yeah.
And they are. I think she's a florist. He knows a little bit about video. I think he does some video stuff as well. And yeah, she was just we want to get to the heart of what this is all about, what the school marriage thing is about. It's about us being together and starting this great adventure. So why don't we do that by having a great adventure? And anyway, so we honestly still keep up with them a lot.
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, often commenting on things on Facebook. I feel I think they come to Denver often, and I'm probably going to be pushy about making sure we get coffee or brunch out here or something when they come visit. And yeah, anyway, so I think when you do something like that, when you're internationally traveling going on such a big adventure, it kind of sets you up to you need to make sure they're really awesome people, first of all.
Yeah, we stuck with them for about a week. So we technically had 3 days set aside, but we were there for 7 days. and we were there the day before, and the weather was kind of rough, and we were super nervous.
Oh, I was nervous.
If it was going to rain the next day.
The forecast was saying it was gonna snow actually.
Yeah.
And
so bad. So we were in west peninsula area of Iceland, and the next day woke up and it was absolutely gorgeous. Had the perfect weather. So we got to film. We had to film their ceremony, which was at the Hotel Boudir, which was around.
Yeah, you can say
it.
We'll just roll over that word.
Yeah, and that one was early in the morning, so everything started before the light came up, kind of for us.
Oh yeah, we had been advised to do an early morning thing there because sometimes the weather can change dramatically by the afternoon. Same thing out here in the mountains in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's morning stuff is really it's a wise
it's advised or something.
Yeah, just because.
And then we had like 2 extra days with a couple, but one day we technically didn't get to film hardly at all because it literally like a blizzard hit.
Oh my gosh.
And our small little cars were stuck in the snow and we couldn't move. And so there's even footage of it's a whiteout. So we were actually pushing the car out of the snow, shoveling it, and we couldn't get out of an area. And Vic, it was a nightmare, but it was.
We were laughing and we were freezing, but this blizzard came in so quickly that it was a matter of us sitting and like, oh, let's just go grab some cocoa and it's just a small amount of snow. And then we were sitting there drinking our cocoa and we were like, it's getting kind of intense out there. And we jump it in our cars quickly, complete whiteout conditions. We were pushing vehicles. It was
and then 30 minutes, north, it's sunny.
So we drove 30 more minutes
weather
and it was completely no snow. So. Yeah.
So the crazy weather, I'm sure, made for some good Instagram photos. And like speaking of like the sunset and like getting up early for a sunrise is a bit different. I don't know when you actually shot it, but I'm actually visiting Iceland in like 2 or 3 weeks for a trip, and apparently there's 20 hours of daylight at the moment. So that's got to be different, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's I've heard about that. The summers are just incredible for that. I think that you get like your golden
hour for like 3 hours or like something.
or more. I don't know the exact amount, but I've heard that it's much more than just like an hour.
Yeah.
So.
And we filmed in October, so I think it was like 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. maybe or something like that.
Where are you going to film, or are you going just to?
So I'm calling it a solo hiking adventure. I'm just going to go by myself and just do what I do.
Fun.
Sleep in the car, man. Go all the way around.
Sleep in the car. Know that the southern part was one of our favorites just because there was so much that you could do in a day. And then
the east side's got the glaciers. We haven't been in the north side or the east side that much. But the West Peninsula is really nice.
Oh yeah, it's super remote out there. If you get overwhelmed by the tourism or anything like that, just go up to the west part. Just look around. It's beautiful.
I'm super pumped, and I might have to just call you guys after this at some point just to get a full advice for the trip.
Yeah.
But so you shoot a lot of destination stuff, and of course we have to talk about gear. I feel like when you do have good couples, listening and being able to keep up with what they're doing and being quick is almost as important as like having the gear. So like, do you have like a very minimal kit? Like, what did you bring for like that elopement? Like, what do you typically shoot with, I guess?
Yeah. So for that, we knew that we were going to be doing a lot of like jumping out of the car, maybe hiking a little bit, doing things like that. So we actually switched over from like a lot of things like a Pelican case and stuff like that we'd be rolling around, wouldn't work very well in gravel or on a trail. We switched to a Langley bag.
So yeah, we were able to put all of our stuff from our Pelican case into a Langley bag so we can literally just hike anywhere. I have the DJI Ronin M, so that's also in a backpack. And then we have the drone, which is in a backpack, the Phantom 3.
So just those two are still slim big backpacks. Like those are really nice things, but compared to just like a camera, like for photographers, like I'm so jealous at some point,
Yes. We can't even. Yeah. We seriously get so jealous of that.
And then we'll just carry our monopods pretty much. So everything, our goal is we can carry all of gear to some location, and so we've minimized to that extent, and it's worked out really well for our system.
It also has been helpful for us to condense down like that to on wedding days when we're actually like at a venue and we're, we're like walking in and there's like not a lot of space, or there's just bridesmaids bags everywhere. It's been nice to just have like a more condensed pack like that. So we did it initially for things like Iceland and for a couple of elopements we had out this past summer out here in the Rocky Mountains.
In the elopements, we usually don't need any of our lighting, so that also saves on the gear we have to bring for lighting and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going through your weddings, like I said, I'm instantly a fan. I totally get it. But like the slow motion, natural light, the tasteful color grading, like it's beautiful, but you don't notice it, which like a lot of people do it incorrectly. A lot of 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio, the Wes Anderson negative space centering, and tons of reaction shots. I get that. That's one thing that I think elevates a lot of wedding films is the reaction shots. Adds emotion, context, the back and forth, and it's tough to do, but I feel like a lot of your weddings are just like very good at showing everything that's going on, and it's usually just the two of you shooting, right? Do you have a third, or do you just are awesome power couple, just husband wife team, just slaying weddings left and right, it seems?
Yeah, well, I think we've had maybe 3 weddings that have had a third shooter.
Yeah.
But for us, Christy's really good at capturing emotion. And I think we've kind of figured out our strengths and weaknesses so that we don't compete, but we also work together. So Christy's her favorite lens to use is the Canon 135 f2.
I love it. It's super non-intrusive in my opinion, so I don't have to get really close to people. But I can just be like
so sharp.
Yeah, and I can like hone in on people's like expressions and like what's going on. Yeah, if you see any 135 shots, likely my shot.
And then I
just love it.
Yeah.
I love like how intimate, how like personal it feels. Yeah, and then Kaylin does the wide stuff, which shows like the scene, and yeah. So I think once we like figured out that little balance, we love it.
Love it, love it, love it. And people are commenting that they say your Snapchats are 100. Talk to me about the Snapchats.
Snapchat. Snapchat. I just post the goofiest things in my life.
Since Christy's been pregnant, so we're expecting our first child in August, by the way. So since Christy's been pregnant, I feel like she's gotten way funnier. Like comedy level has just increased.
Dude,
I don't know if it's a comedy hormone or something, but
it's the baby. The baby's funny, and it's just like, you know.
It's like the reverse of what I thought would happen. I hear that like a lot of women get really emotional and they're crying and stuff. I just laugh about everything. So it's been kind of funny. It's put me in a couple of situations where I have to like leave the room and go like touch up my makeup because of a funny music video or something. So
yeah, it's super hilarious.
Yeah. So, but oh yeah. So I feel like that's kind of reflected in my Snapchat where I just do a bunch of goofy things. It's not, yeah. Like,
talk to me about the Instagram as well. You guys have a very good style on there as well, you know?
We've been working on it a little bit more. We've kind of been hiatus for a couple of weeks, I think, mainly just cranking out a lot of edits right now. And because our child is coming in August, we're trying to book as many gigs. So we're very busy until the baby comes so we can take off like a month or so. So our goal is like just cranking out edits, creating out tons of content, and preparing for things to like continue on after the child comes. So I think that's why every weekend in June is booked for us, and then technically every weekend in May we've been gone, and then July is our final wedding before the baby. Yes. So
nice. Congrats though. That's awesome. You guys are like making the work-life balance and like work, so that's good.
We're
trying to. So, it's definitely a learning curve, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. So before we started the broadcast, we had a different camera angle for you guys, and we had the antlers coming out of the back of your head. So if anyone can see the deer.
There you go. There it is. So
there we go.
This is Stu right here.
Oh yeah, he's got a name.
Stu the deer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a family piece. We were talking earlier before we started this about how most of my life I've been a vegetarian and so it's not even like, but my family is super like hunter-gatherer kind of people. They have like an acre of land that they farm and like they go hunting or whatever, you know. Same with Kaylin's family.
And we live in an urban city,
so they were like, "Here's a piece of home for you."
Yeah, so I saw that and I was expecting to see like the gun rack like up the. You're not like that at all.
We do have a BB gun, but it never gets you. We just put it up and we say, "Yeah, we come from family with fun roots," and so.
Yeah. So okay. So you do stuff other than weddings. You do commercial work, but then you also do like these wonderful travel docs. I think you call them like short films. They're always kind of focused around an area. And talk to me about those. Those are like gorgeous. Love it. I saw one. What was it? It was in Colorado. Yeah, it makes me want to go to Colorado. Very cool.
You figure which one was it?
Is it the Explorer one with the baby announcement one?
Can't remember. It was shot with Magic Lantern.
Okay, so that was our trip to Colorado. That was actually revisiting our wedding location.
Yeah.
3 years later. So we
of
actually we mainly film weddings. So White and Revery is technically consisted of mainly weddings, but on the side other production stuff or small commercials. Eventually branding it as a different company kind of. And but whenever we travel, we try to capture a lot of footage. And we're also starting to create content for Film Supply for being able to license out footage for companies or people to use for whatever stuff. So that is one of those elements where we have put that on Film Supply to license out footage that we've shot. And we're continually, every time we go on an adventure, we capture extra footage so that we can, just put it up there and see if it creates some residual income and everything. So
yeah, I think the one you're talking about specifically though, we actually had come up, so when we eloped out here in Colorado 5.5 years ago, we brought Daniel Chestnut from Paperback Weddings and Tyler Branch. He now is like doing really awesome too.
Yeah.
And oh wait, we just lost audio. Can't hear you.
Wonderful names, by the way. There we go. Audio. Yeah.
There we go. This was 5.5 years ago. I think we were like their third wedding or something like that. Kalen like knew them through a record label that he was working for. And so we met them out here and eloped out in Colorado, and we just picked a spot the day before pretty much. Like it was really like spontaneous and free and stuff. And so when we came back on that video that you were looking at or that you saw of us just running around in the mountains, I think I had dark hair at that time.
You and I didn't have a beard, so
yeah,
it's quite different.
Pre-beard, pre-blonde, yeah.
Blonde.
Babies.
We were looking for the location that we picked out because
Couldn't find it.
we were like, where was this place at again? It was really like just take that road, like go here or whatever. And anyway, so it was super funny. We actually found it, and it's like an 8-minute hike where you're just gasping for breath, and it's amazing. And
yeah.
Anyway, that's what that video is. Mostly of us just exploring and trying to find a place.
We didn't do film at that time, which is kind of funny. But later on, whenever we did start, we just picked up a Canon T3i for pictures, but we know we wanted to have something for video eventually. And Christy just did a behind-the-scenes video. She got pressured in by a photographer friend to, hey, do behind-the-scenes video for us. And Christy's like, well, I need to research, where the record button is because I don't know where that's at.
Oh, yeah. I showed up to this thing, and I had to Google how to turn my T3i onto video record mode because I was like, I thought I knew how to do this, but it's just not working.
I think we've all had moments like that where we're like frantically trying to Google very basic stuff just so that we don't look stupid.
Yeah. And then she downloaded Final Cut X like later that night, which was technically right when it came out too.
Yeah.
So everyone was complaining about how it didn't have all the functions that you need. And so, but at the time we didn't know anything, so we could care less. So as we improved, Final Cut came up with updates. So it kept on living up to our expectations.
Cool. So you're still using Final Cut 10, and are you using DaVinci Resolve, or are you kind of doing a mix?
Right now, I'm taking some online classes for DaVinci Resolve, mainly for color grading and editing. Eventually, we might work some progress into it, but I've heard that it's a little bit more limited in audio capabilities. So that's the one reason why we haven't totally switched over. Plus, we do same-day edits, and Christy is our main editor, and she's extremely fast with Final Cut X. We have a really good system down for structures, and she knows like every shortcut, and we create our own shortcuts, and like it's just like super fast. So we've gotten really good at it, especially with the rendering on it. So we've stuck with it. But I'm also taking some classes on Premiere so that I can translate information I know in Final Cut into Premiere for whenever I talk with people as well about weddings and that stuff.
Yeah, we've been kind of getting into teaching a little bit. Like it's something we really would love as like a next step. A lot of people poured into our company, and us, like, we're growing. It's a natural part of just growing along with everybody, and yeah, so we've been getting into that. So we're learning a lot on Premiere too right now.
I'm trying to, yeah, but mainly Final Cut X, and then stuff like that. But we technically, so after Christy did that little shoot, we had a friend get married, and we're like, hey, can we film your wedding just because you don't have a videographer? We borrowed their teeth-through eyes. So we had 2 teeth-through eyes. I built my first custom glide track, 4-foot long PVC pipe. I was like, oh, 4 foot, that's probably not long enough, but at least it'll do, right? 4 feet.
Everyone has started out making their own DIY jib, slider, like stabilizer.
My first fly cam was the fly cam Nano from like India I ordered or something, the cheapest one I could find. So we literally started there and did our first wedding, and people were like, oh, you do video for weddings? Here, let me refer you to this person. And the first year we did about 10 or 12 weddings and did about 3 or 4 for free, just kind of creating our name. And because we had other jobs at the same time. She was in sales and I was working at a record label. So, and things translated. The next year we started getting more bookings, and we realized we either need to take less bookings, or we need to quit our jobs. And we decided, we knew we had like 3 months to work out. So we're like, let's just chance it and let's take the risk. And so we went full time into wedding films about 3 years ago, and we're never looking back, and it's just amazing.
We love it.
It's been worth it for sure.
It's been a really cool balance for me and my like love for like all of the emotion that we're catching. Like these people, we've had a couple of father of the brides pass away in the past like couple of years, and or a couple months actually, like 2 months. And it satisfies my like need to do something that's very fulfilling, where I'm like, this is like footage that they're gonna cherish for the rest of their lives, and like they're gonna see that expression and things like that. And then also Kaylin's like really techie needs.
Super tech. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Well, very nice. So backtrack one. So that was the first year. How many years have you been shooting? Because it seems like you have grown very quickly as far as weddings are concerned, right?
A little over 4 years. This March we filmed our 100th wedding. So first year was about 12 weddings. Second year was about 24. And then the third year, we didn't know what we were capable of. So we booked 33 weddings and realized, man, that means we have to edit 3 a month or so. So we realized that's too much. And so we've backed down to what we feel is comfortable, and we're more effective with our time. So we're about 20 to 25 a year is all we take now, and just focus our energy and time with those couples and those stories and make them the best possible we can.
Yeah. And about those same day edits, how have you done a couple? Like you said that you enjoy them, but they are crazy stressful, but they're fun, right? It's like a big challenge.
Dude, they are definitely, so we do same day loops. If you know the difference, one's probably got more audio into it. It's a bit more like inclusive with a lot of things. We do same day loops, which is about, we just promise 1.5 to 3 minute long video at receptions. And it's just our favorite shots. A lot of them, are just the bride getting ready, a couple shots of them getting ready, maybe a gift exchange, first look in the ceremony. And we love them because just these mothers come up to us and they just like hug us and they're crying. Groom like stands up and like high fives all the groomsmen. It's like instant gratification versus like before when we weren't doing them, we would get these emails back. They're like, yay, we love the video. And then we'd be like, oh, cool.
So like 3 months later, no one's probably going to rewatch it unless they, share it with every single person individually, but we get to see everyone's response, the guests. So as we started.
Yeah, I tell you, like I tell people, the moment you show it and right after it wraps, it's one of the best feelings ever. Everyone is just so happy. It's like such a surge of emotion. And
there are business cards out there, man. They'll be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to
make them rain, you're just like.
Jumpstart your company. Like that was one big way that we started getting a lot more gigs, was showcasing the same day edits, which we thought was like impossible. But we tried it for one wedding. We did it during cocktail hour. I would be filming that, and she would be editing. And then during like dinner, she would finish editing and then pass it off to me, and I color grade really quickly with a adjustment layer that I already have prepped. And then we showcase it, and it works. So, and then we'll post it like 1 to 3 weeks with a song added to it, so they have something to share immediately until they get their final film or their highlight film later on.
We also love that like whenever that photographer's done with their photos, like 6 to 8 weeks later or whenever it is, we're able to be like, oh yeah, you're submitting to a blog, here's our video too. We don't have to
something, you know what I mean?
Can you wait like several more months or whatever, So it's nice for that too.
Yeah, and like also the photographer gets to see what you just did. Like everyone, because like I feel like people don't really quite understand what we're doing on the day of the wedding, and like the photographer should, they should. But like when the guests see it, they treat you a little differently right after you show the same day.
You get a little bit more respect, but also you kind of realize that, hey, we're all working as professionals, and so you kind of get to relate a little bit more with that other vendor.
No, there's so many times when we like walk into like a room and we're like, oh, can we see what everything looks like with the lights off? And then we turn off all the lights and then we move everybody closer to the window. And then the mother of the bride walks in and she's like, asks like probably 5 times, like, are you sure you don't need me to turn the lights on? Like, why is it so dark in here? Can we turn the lights on?
So they're able to translate what we're filming until we show them later, and they're like, wow, I didn't expect
that's
this.
why they do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to show them,
and
like,
it just comes down to that trust. You want to book couples that trust you to do what you do. Yeah,
it's absolutely true.
Cool. So you've got some friends in the chat. Seth and Josh and
I need to load that. Hold on, let's get that link up so we can see it.
Yeah.
Seth Dunlap.
Oh,
Seth.
What up, Seth?
Yeah.
Guy. I remember Seth.
We can tell many stories about Seth.
Seth is like the best energy.
Yeah. Sorry, I guess.
Talk to me about Philip real quick. Who is this fool named Philip?
Our brother-in-law. That is awesome.
So you can skip this.
Let me go to this.
We're gonna pull this up. So we tried to earlier, and it like had all this crazy audio.
Yeah, just a second. We're almost done. Okay, there's
there we go. Seth, hey.
There they go. Tell the fire story.
Okay, so Seth was a third shooter for one of our friends' weddings, Marco and Lizzie Rendazzo. Also an awesome photographer, by the way. And we were filming their exit, and they were doing it outside, so I wanted to capture a drone shot of their exit. And they had a long ways with the sparkler exit. So right before they started exiting, I had the drone up top so I could rewatch this, and it was hysterical. So Christy's in the middle and like mixed in with everybody filming from that angle. Seth
I always
is also
get nervous with my hair with sparklers, so I try to be like Caitlin, you get it. I'd rather a man bun go up in flames than my big lion's mane. So
because it would look cool if it's just like a single flame just burning on the man bun.
Exactly. And so pretty much right before they started running, we had one of the bridesmaids had decided, I think collectively with some other people, decided to light like 10 sparklers at once.
Like a handful.
And as they did it, it just all of a sudden from the shot up above, it just was like just boom. And then she freaked out and dropped it in the middle of the runway. And they're starting to run. Seth sees it, goes and grabs the sparklers as they're hot and exits out the aisle as they run past him. And so he misses the shot, but at least saves the day. So, he's a hero.
We did have my one monopod shot, but that was about it.
Wow, that is intense. Seth deserves a cookie. I'm sure, putting his life on the line for the sparkler shot. Love it. So it was like a top-down kind of drone shot. You were just like holding it, or were you trying to do like a motion with them or something?
It was it was just like the overhead shot, just following along. So as they ran, I'd fly with them. So.
Yeah, someone just commented it's on YouTube, and they're right. It is on YouTube. We added a video of the fireworks song by Katy Perry
song.
And
love it. I can't wait to see that. Definitely we'll post that in the description afterwards.
Oh, hey.
We got some friends from Florida.
Yeah.
So
awesome. So wedding film school mainly caters to people learning, a lot of people starting out and just figuring out what they want to do with weddings. Mm-hmm. So you do a lot of workshops, it seems, right? One-on-one. Do you do them kind of like in larger groups?
We just started this like a month ago. We haven't even really mentioned it on Instagram yet, but we've decided we have a lot of people that have been reaching out to us about gear, about questions, and we just haven't had the time to invest into teaching as much. So
we were getting 3 to 5 new inquiries every week with people who are just like, hey, just got the Sony, or hey, can you tell me about your color grading process or something like that? And so we love that. We love so much. It's just a huge part of our growing process is finding some of the best friends that we'll ever have in the industry, as
get to meet
fellow
other
filmmakers.
filmmakers that are becoming great. And
Yeah,
working
and
hard.
so to us, like, we were like so excited. We were like, oh my gosh, we love to talk about this. And so we would answer all of the emails, and then I started calculating how much time I was spending, and I was like, oh shoot, like
cut into our editing
It's
started
cutting into
falling
our
back,
editing.
and it just affected our business.
So I think it's because we love to get really detailed with our thoughts and ideas about stuff. I don't want to just half-heartedly like answer something or like seem like I'm brushing people off. So workshops has been like the perfect thing for that, because it helps balance our work time, like our editing time, and our investing into the filmmaking community time, and then. It's also allowed us to get one-on-one and like not be answering in emails where things can be like misunderstood or not, or vague even. We can like
we'll screen share sometimes,
and go through and show people. It's been really fun.
So yeah, they're about an hour and a half, and they're with an individual or a company, whatever it is. And sometimes, it works out great, and they spend the next month practicing what they learned with either that camera or whatever, and then we might book another session and then go over the film or tweak it and stuff.
Yeah, we've had a couple people book second sessions to just go over everything and say, okay, now I've got this. So yeah.
That's totally cool. And that's something that we're starting to do with Wedding Film School. Wait, I think your audio is coming back in.
Oh,
are you there?
Hold on. I hear myself. It's really weird. It's okay. I'll just roll it. Okay, so like, what would be like one piece of advice that you would give to people starting out? Give us a little slice of like the knowledge that you would drop on these people, I guess.
One piece of advice to people starting out. I feel like not being too hard on yourself is really an important piece of advice. Like sometimes Caitlin and I we tend to be a little bit more perfectionist when it comes to things like, but sometimes there's only so much you can do, especially when you have only so much gear. And that's another piece of advice. Don't get too wrapped up in gear.
Yeah, literally. Don't put too many expectations on yourself, feeling like I need to be at this level immediately.
Yeah.
Like, that is not the case. You can watch our old film if you wanted to on our Vimeo and see like where we've come from. Like we all start somewhere. And I mean, our advice is like, don't invest in gear as much as a concern. Like your goal should be framing and lighting. Like that would be your focus. Shoot with a monopod for the first few weddings only if you need to. That forces you to frame things. It forces you to see things differently. And I think that mindset goes further than the gear that you use. And then you use the tools to tell the story however you want to tell the story,
Yeah.
Also be super humble and try to always allow yourself to be teachable. Like you don't feel like you have to be very prideful about it, but like say, hey, like, can I shadow somebody? Like, let me learn. So we did that for the first year, like trying to get on shoots just for free. Like, how can I learn? Like, let me be in that mindset and be with those people, because any knowledge, seeing how they talk to a couple is great. You know what I mean? Like that knowledge goes a long way too.
Totally. I agree with all that. And I'm really interested to see how your workshops go. That should be fun. And I'm kind of going through the same thing right now. So maybe I'll pick your brain about Iceland, that, and other stuff in general.
Yeah.
So their website is in the description. I highly recommend that you just take a day or two to just like check out all their stuff. And of course, follow them on Snapchat. So we'll definitely get that. We'll get that or your Instagram back into the description of the video. But thank you so much. It was a real honor and pleasure to chat with you two. You're so lovely. And I feel like next time I'm in Colorado, I'll definitely hit you up for some coffee or something.
For
That'd be
real,
awesome,
we'd
man.
love it. We'll show you all the cool coffee shops around town. So.
Yes. Or maybe like a coffee hike or something like that. I'm a hiker, so we'll have to make it happen.
Altitudes, that'd be great.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Yeah, thanks.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll see you later, Craig.
All right. Take care, everyone.